So, can I ask your name, sir?
Graham Allan.
Graham Allan.
Yeah.
And how old are you, Graham?
I'm 66.
66. Man, you're just a little bit older than me, and you're looking fine too. Yeah.
I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, yeah. So, first surfboard, Graham?
First surfboard, okay. I had a Peter Byers blank which was sent to me in Wanganui.
Yep.
Because we did a trip up to Auckland and drove out to Piha, and I was just stunned because here was a surf shop.
Yeah.
Underneath the trees as you drove down into Piha.
Yeah.
And he made the whole caboodle. He blew his blanks and did his boards, and
yeah.
It was just like, wow, that's
yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Piha was going off, it was nice. So when I got back to Wanganui, I rang him up and asked if I could buy a blank, and first off he went, no, don't do that. Anyway, I hounded him, and he finally relented and sent me a blank. And I arrived down there, and I glassed it up, and I was living with my grandparents at the time, my grandfather, and did it in the lounge.
Yeah. So did you know a bit about glassing then, or you just?
No, I just sorted it out myself.
Yeah. So that's
got
when you started making surfboards.
Did a light blue tint, which is a bit patchy, but yeah, it was a nice board.
So what sort of year are we talking about roughly then? Middle 60s?
Yeah, 65-ish.
Yeah. So you just made a shape. Did you copy anything, or you
No. It was one of Peter Byers' boards. It was,
yeah.
It was basically just like a skimmed off blanket. Yeah. She's a biggie, the sticky. Yeah. Round nose, round tail.
Plenty of flotation. You catch every wave. So where did you actually start surfing?
Well, I joined this. I was an apprentice motor mechanic in Wanganui, and I did okay in the exams and shit like that. So I got sent to Outward Bound. Yep. And I met a guy there who was in the Wangambata Surf Club, and he kind of struck me as a real pretty organised guy. And I wasn't swimming or doing too much at that time, so I thought, right, I'm going to go back to Wanganui and sort that deal out. Yeah. And I joined the surf club. Yeah. So you got a job there and all that sort of thing? Oh, well, I was working as a motor mechanic. Yeah. So I went, started swimming, and got my bronze and did the surf club thing. Yeah. So you're a lifesaver? Yeah, that was the start out point for me, but the club very quickly became orientated into surfing. As a lot of those early lifesavers did. It decimated the club as far as the competition of the club surf lifesaving was concerned, but a bunch of surfers came out of it. Yeah. So did you have a wetsuit in those days, or what did you surf in winter? Shit, it was cold down there too. Yeah, no, it was the bloody woolen jersey, I think. And that was it? Yeah. Because I don't think you could buy wetsuits. No. Dive ones and that sort of thing. They did arrive when I was living in Wanganui. I remember the first guy that got one. They used to have the bloody big beaver tail thing that you pulled up around the front. Yep. And you up around here, you know. Half the guys cut those off and all sorts of crazy things, didn't they? So yeah, it was early days, and gloves and all the rest of it. We tried these different things, but. So how did you get up Whangarei way? Because you made surfboards up there? Well, my dad lived in Auckland, and he had a business there, and I did the apprenticeship from being a motor mechanic, but I was always destined to go work for my dad in Auckland. Yep. So you came up to Auckland? Came up to Auckland and was living there and working in my dad's business. And then. So did you meet up with some of the Whangarei? Well, I was kind of the agent for Surfboards Gisborne for a while, because I used to go to Gisborne lots. Yep. I loved going down there surfing and met all the guys down there, and sold a few boards for the boys down there. Yep. And met a lot of the Auckland crew, and I think it was Gant probably was the first guy I kind of got in tow with, and then one night we were down the Mon, having a few drinks, and there was Dave Leach and Roger Crisp and Gant and I, and we decided we had the wherewithal to do it. Gant was the shaper, I think Roger was going to be the glasser, Dave was the sander, and I was the finish coated pin liner type person. So it was just decided at the pub that you'd go and we'd have a go at it, and because I was an engineer, I kind of made up all the stands and stuff like that. Yeah. And away we went. We didn't really think too heavily down the track about how it's all going to work out. But that's how you got started. That's how we did it. Yeah. Best surfboard. Have you ever had a surfboard that you wished you'd never sold, or was the one you got down the shed there? No. I've had a few actually, but the best one I ever had was my Bonza, I guess. Mick McDonnell owns and snapped in half. But basically, everybody that tried that surfboard bought one. Yeah, it just was a good shape. It was magic. Yeah. And you haven't got it, but you know where it is. I know where it is. Yeah. I've seen some duplicates around. I've tried to source, and there's some pretty nice ones out there, examples of them. But I remember the first one. That was the first one, and you could get the because it was kind of like a bat tail, and you could get the tips of the bats and do that when it was shaped.
Oh yeah.
And the concave was like 10 mil to the top of the board. We used a jam jar, big old preserving jar and sandpaper, and got the concaves in there. And it was just a rocket. It just went so fast.
It's so easy nowadays with these board makers with a machine, don't they? Just plug it into a computer and you can get what sort of shape, but there's nothing like the hand-shaped board.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So, best, ever had one of those days when the surf's been fantastic? You've got to have one or two of those where you've gone out and it's just been marvellous and you really ripped it to bits sort of thing. Where was that and when was that?
Oh, we had a few spots up there. Going back to the Bonza a little bit, there was a stage where Waipu Rivermouth was just absolutely unbelievable.
It still does it now and again today too.
And I think it was after a winter of pretty heavy rain, and it drilled this bank out beside the groin, out from the groin. It just took this bank out there and made this right hander that just broke for about,
just peel off. Yeah.
And it was fast. And standard board wouldn't make it, but the Bonzas did.
Yeah.
So Viv and I think Titch and I, for about 6 months we had it to ourselves, and it was kind of funny because people go, "Where did you go for a surf on the weekend?" "Oh, I went to Ocean Beach." And,
so you were
I was at Ocean Beach. I didn't see. Oh no, sorry, I went to Sandy Bay.
You were keeping that pretty secret for a while.
We had it for 6 months to ourselves, and so that I've had some perfect waves there.
Yeah, it's still. I know. I think 2 Christmases ago there was a mean wave coming in there, and the guys with the longboard really weren't making it because it was just too fast. You know.
I mean, Derek Hine came out a lot of years ago and was interviewing a lot of people in New Zealand. Derek Hine, the guy who went away? And he came out and he asked a whole bunch of people the same sort of questions, and he asked me what was the best wave I'd ever seen, and that's what I figured, that Waipu Rivermouth. I remember paddling out and couldn't quite get to the set, but it was just like, it was the little ripples on an offshore just right up into the tube, and it was just perfect.
Wouldn't it be great to have a video of all that now?
Oh, you know.
People wouldn't believe you, would they?
No, especially that wave. It was something else. I don't think it's ever been the same again, personally.
Did you have any surf heroes when you were a young fella? Who did you sort of look up to when you were getting going and that sort of thing? Or
well, when I was living in Wanganui, obviously the New Plymouth guys up Robbie Walsh and that.
Yeah.
And Tommy Waite from Opanaki, he was a really good surfer.
So they were sort of real ripping at that time.
Yeah, and a guy I used to surf with a lot, Don Hawkins from Wanganui, he was a good surfer in his day.
Yep.
And then when I moved to Auckland, and the Gisborne guys were there were some good guys down there, obviously, Burnsy and the whole crew, but
none of the overseas guys? Or?
I think the most impressive guy I think I've ever seen surf and been in the water with has got to be Ted Spencer.
Yeah. I don't even know his name. So.
No, and most people don't, and don't even recognise who I'm talking about. But Derek Hine asked me the same question, and when I told him, he said, "That's funny, you're not the first person to say that."
So he's American?
No, there was Nat Young, Wayne Lynch, and Ted Spencer.
Australia.
They were a trio, and they were travelling the world together. And Ted dropped out of that scene pretty quickly because he was a real loner.
Yeah.
And he got into Hare Krishna and used to, I guess he just annoyed people because of the way he went about things. He'd go down on the beach and do his Tai Chi and stuff, and he'd go in the water and got laughed at and pointed at, but the guy could surf like no one else.
Yeah. So what was your first car that you used to travel around in all these surf breaks? What sort of vehicle were we looking at?
In Wanganui, my uncle gave me a car to go to work with, so I never really surfed in that. But a friend of mine, you know, we pulled the shed down around this car, which was a 1929 Hudson Super 6.
Yeah, so that's a big car. It would be great for surfing.
And we rebuilt the coachwork because it was all wooden coachwork and had a canvas top on it, so we bailed that off it and redid the coachwork. We put a clear PVC wire reinforced top on it.
Yeah.
And we used to go up to New Plymouth from there. That was a real hit, you know. That was just, I'd love to have had a photo of that beastie with all the boards on top.
How many guys you get in it? 6 or more?
6 or so, yeah, fully laden up with boards. It was just the full woody, you know.
I love it.
7 litre 6-cylinder motor, you put it in top and take off.
Never change gear, probably.
So that was the first one.
Yeah. And
then a series of Volkswagens.
Yeah, they were great, weren't they? Metal road, though. Yeah. Not much could beat them on a metal road.
No, they're pretty good cars. Yeah. And then after that I had a 65 Holden station wagon, which I had for a few years.
Is that the red one?
No, that was a white one.
Yeah.
Had that for a good few years. It was a good car. And then the Fiat 125, that was...
They could crank along.
That was a good car.
Yeah.
Had that for a long time.
While you've been out surfing, you had any big fish sightings while you've been surfing? You haven't had any?
Plenty.
Plenty? You've seen some sharks out there? Yeah. Any real ones that you're worried about, or just?
Ocean Beach one day. There was a bunch of us there. A few guys could tell you the story probably. Kevin Price, Herman de Crow. There's a tall gangly guy, Wendy, with the butcher. Dave. Can't remember his surname.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're out there, and it was on a weekend, and it was a good solid swell. And Kevin Price were out going for the set, over the set, and here comes the shark. He'd meant business.
Yeah. So he was sort of following them, or?
He was coming straight for us.
Yeah. So
we kind of yelled shark and managed to take off on the wave that was just in front of him.
Yeah.
Field ends your wings, and everybody kind of got into the beach, and this shark just zoomed up and down the beach for a while.
Yeah. So she was.
And everybody was out of the water, and then a couple of hours went by, and we sort of hanging up in the car park and cruising, and some guy rocked up and decided to go for a swim, and that shark came straight back in and was out of the water in a flash.
Yeah.
So that's the only one I've really thought meant business.
Yeah. Surf accidents. You had any accidents, or you've been one of the lucky guys that have?
Cuts and bruises.
Not too bad.
A few bangs on the head.
Yeah.
One fin through the elbow was a dirty one.
Yeah. A few stitches, or yeah. What's the stupidest thing that you've seen someone do out surfing? Something that, man, why did they do that? Has anything come to mind, or?
Just guys on Mel's abandoning ship on somebody behind them, basically.
Yeah. I can, some of those bar breaks part out, you must have seen some of those guys come back from fishing and canned out and that sort of thing, and there's just fishing gear everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, I see a few incidents, but yeah.
Favourite New Zealand surf trip? Or tell me what, I know you've been all over, where have you been surfing?
California.
Yep. All the favourite breaks over there? Did you go to Malibu?
Not really, no, I was working there for a while, and I was living in Santa Barbara, so.
Yeah, and what were you doing working there?
That was when I was windsurfing, basically.
So were you competitive windsurfing at that stage, or representing New Zealand, or just what sort of competitions were running? Or?
Well, I kind of did all our nationals and stuff in all the formats we had, but then I got it. They kind of the first thing was the Pan Am Cups.
Yeah.
In Hawaii.
I've heard the name.
Yeah. And I went to those, and they were really good competitions to go to. That was real early days. Yeah. And then I went to a few pro contests after that in Australia and Guam, Namir.
Yeah, Guam, that would have been an interesting place.
Guam was really interesting.
Yeah. And the Kiwi guys stand up. We know we've won gold medals at Olympics and things like that, but
well, the pro ranks are a bit different, you know.
Yeah, are into the waves and.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few guys, if they'd had the backing and the conditions to go sailing more.
Yeah.
Because sailing in the tropics is a lot different than sailing in New Zealand.
Yeah.
The guys like Raman Patel, he was one of our forerunner standout sailors, especially in the waves. It was good.
Now, tell me, when you got making surfboards up in Whangarei, so there's 4 of you into business.
Yeah. And
you did sell a lot of boards here, but you sort of, would you split up and go to Auckland?
Well, in the early days, we got it going, but we were sort of $10 a week each, with not a lot of money really. And it didn't take too long for the whole thing to dissolve in a foursome situation. Like Roger went back to university, as I remember. Dave maybe did as well, Dave Leash. And Gant and I stuck at it for quite a while. And then Gant decided to go back to Auckland, and I nearly stopped it myself, and I thought I wasn't sure what to do, because I could have gone back and worked for my dad, but I got an order from Wanganui, from a young guy down there, and I thought, okay, I'll make this board for this guy and I'll shape it, because I wasn't a shaper at that point. I thought if he likes the board, I'll carry on. If he doesn't, well, I'll bail it. And he loved it. So.
Yeah. And you got it in that. Yeah.
And that was the start of my shaping career, basically.
So did you move to Auckland and after that start shaping there, or?
No, we started in 1970.
Yep.
And went right through the 70s, and I think we moved to Auckland in 1979.
79. So that's a, you know, Whangarei not a big place, is it? So that's a.
No, we did pretty good. We were making quite a few boards.
And you would have been selling boards to everyone all over the place?
A lot of Auckland guys were starting to buy them.
Yep.
And your guys from Kaitaia, a lot of people had them, you know.
Yeah. And we had some good surfers though, didn't we?
Yeah, well, there was the Laurie brothers from Kaitaia, they rode our boards, and they were pretty much the best guys up there. So, yeah.
What sort of music were you listening to in those early days? What did you have going cranked up on the radio when you were off to the beach?
Well, the name Super Session came from Al Cooper and Mike Blomford, the album Super Session.
Yeah. Which
was a jazz fusion type album, but yeah, anything that was going in the day. I mean, everybody was into it. It was such a revolution, wasn't it, in those years?
Yeah.
All the big bands came out to New Zealand.
Yeah. Favourite break? What's your? I know you live at not far from Mangarai now, but you know, when you go surfing, what's your favourite break when you're around in New Zealand?
Well,
where have you had
this
the
is
most
a new
fun?
knee sitting here. This is like a zirconium knee, which has kind of stuck me up a bit.
So you don't get on
but
here.
forestry can be really good.
Yep.
Especially when there's bugger all people there.
Yeah.
And I've had the odd occasion where it's just been plastic.
Yeah. Well, I've surfed at forestry and it can be a mean little wave.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess forestry's pretty nice, yeah.
How many got kids that surf or?
No.
No children?
No, we couldn't have children, so a couple of poodles is where we're at.
Those are children? Too busy surfing?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're still making surfboards today?
Yeah.
That's a long stretch of making surfboards, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's just like, perhaps I'm making too good or something, you know?
Yeah.
People don't buy new ones.
Oh, I bought an e-board down to show you, and it's probably nearly 40 years old, and it's not a bad nick, really.
There's some guys coming out of the woodwork that just, you know, they've had my boards for years, and they just come back and get another one.
And reorders, well, they're happy with what you supply.
Basically who I supply these days.
Yeah. So you had a big business going there at one stage, and you?
Yeah, when we moved to Auckland, it took a couple of partnership situations for me to get to where we were going, but we took on the Clark Foam Agency.
And you supplied other board makers around New Zealand?
We were supplying New Zealand, the whole New Zealand market, essentially.
Yeah.
And the blanks were nice.
Yeah.
They were really good.
So how did they come in a container, or were they?
No, we blew them.
Oh, you blew them here, sorry.
Yeah, so we were getting the components from Gordon Clark. We were the only people in the world that he set up like that, with their own.
Did he supply the moulds, or did you have to make those? Or?
We made our own moulds.
Moulds, yeah.
But it was all under instruction from Gordon Clark and Dick Morellis, the guy that ran his operation.
Yeah.
And it was nasty materials, you know, cyanotes and things like that, but the blanks were really good.
So did you wear masks and breathing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you had to. Yeah. You knew it was nasty stuff even in
nasty,
the
nasty. Yeah.
There's a lot of guys didn't, and I don't know. They're not doing this anymore. So.
That was due to Dick Morellis and Gordon Clark that they drilled us on, because they had, you know, I mean, he had a big operation over there, so he obviously knew.
Yeah. That was.
And it cost him in the end, basically. Like, you know, his business went down the tubes not that long ago, but only because the authorities were just constantly at him. He had grandfather status, which why he kept going for so long without.
Legendary, isn't it? And I think a lot of guys like me just about cry when you see photos of all those blank, not, you know, with the foam where they moved the blanks on, everything was broken up and smashed and taken to the dump because he didn't want anyone to have them.
Well, more to the point, I think he realised in the end that it was such a dangerous occupation for the guys involved in doing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a few fronts on that one, why he did that. But
yeah, just fed up with authority and that sort of thing, yeah.
Smashing his head against a brick wall against the whole thing, because he would have spent millions trying to pacify the authorities on what they wanted.
Yeah, just sometimes it does. So you're probably the happiest just making boards by yourself in your shed for your mates now than you've ever been? Or
well, yeah, I I deviated into outrigger canoe paddling about 10 years ago, and I'm building the paddles for those.
Yeah. So you made them, or?
I make paddles.
Yeah, the paddles. Yeah, yeah. Then you're well known for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been to 2 World Championships, and in the second World Championship I went to in Noumea in 2010, there were 50 New Zealanders using them.
Yeah.
And 40 of us got gold.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah.
So yeah.
So you competed in that as well? Yeah. Yeah. And
you've got a few medals sitting up there.
Oh, great. Yeah, yeah. So with those guys, a lot of those islanders and Neumeian people, they board on the water, and that's all they do. Well, not all they do, but they're so strong at paddling and that.
The Tahitians are the tops.
It's a wonder we can compete with a lot of those guys. But
don't discount our Maori people.
Yeah, a lot of hours of training, eh?
Yep.
Yeah. Dedication.
Yep.
And it's great for a lot of the other young kids to get into
Well,
that.
that's where a lot of the medals that we got in there were school age kids who took it up, and that's why I would love building the paddles, because you see the joy on those kids' faces when they win a world championship gold medal. It does a lot for them.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It gives them a good start, to my mind.
Yeah, good on you. Well, thanks, Graham. I can't take too much to ask, so that unless you've got anything else that you want to talk about, but tell me about you surfing with Colin Lowe. Tell me that story.
Well, you were just mentioning, not what I asked, but there was an area there where Pātau, it's changed now. I don't know why it is. Maybe the farmers have changed the landscape with the dams and stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't flush it like it used to, but there was a stage there where Pātau was just plastic. It was like an awesome way. And it was pretty much Colin's home break, and we used to go out there a lot. And even though he surfed my boards, Colin's favourite trick was to drop in on you, you know.
And he probably
two of you in the water, Colin would drop in, no sweat at all, and they'd laugh at you, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But I remember one day Pātau was really cranking low tide, and we're sort of sitting there waiting for it to get good, and all went out together. And yeah, I spotted Colin coming down the line on a really good dredgy wave, and he was coming off the bottom, and I thought, I'm going to drop in on him. You know, I was paddling back out and think, yeah, I'm going to get him there and give him heaps. And spun around and tried to get into it, and it was really ledgy, so it was hard to drop down the face. And he spotted me from a long way back, and he just pulled this turn and came up and smacked with it right underneath me, basically to keep me out of there. But he made one little mistake in that his leg just popped up into a loop, so I just grabbed it and hung on.
So he would have went flying.
Well, yeah, and it was kind of gravelly, you know, it was like that much water and gravel.
Hit the sand? Yeah, that's hard.
So when Colin came bursting up to the surface, it was all go, like, let's off to the beach, which we did, but I don't get anything but a cave of it, but yeah, for me that was pretty good cover.
Probably he should have won a New Zealand champ, and I don't know.
Oh, Colin was just unbelievable.
He was a bit of a legend, wasn't he, in his prime.
He was a very instinctive surfer.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Yeah, good to watch.
Yeah.
Right, thank you, Graham. That was wonderful.